coming down to the gym today. So today what we're gonna do is go through a nutrition consultation. I'll get some more information from you about your current diet and eating habits. We can look at making some changes towards your goals. And then once we finish that, we'll pop into the gym for a quick 30-minute workout. How's that sound?
Yeah,
cool.
Great.
I'll quickly go through your pre-screening, which I've already got here. So it looks like you're pretty healthy, no risks apart from the one potential risk factor. You quit smoking 4 months ago. Great that you quit smoking, but it does add one risk. But apart from that, all looks to be good there. From your profile, I can see you've got a couple of goals to gain some muscle mass, as well as lose a little bit of body fat. So they'll sort of go hand in hand once you start muscle training, training weights, and gaining some muscle. Your fat will start to burn there, so that'll be really good. And you've got a goal of about 4 months to gain, is it 5 kilos of muscle?
Yeah.
Cool. Awesome. And of course, reducing some body fat. Is there any other goals for yourself?
I don't know. I don't think so.
I think
it's pretty.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Maybe just a little bit of guidance with my nutrition. But
Yep. Yeah. Cool. Perfect. That's what we'll do today. So you're currently exercising 5 times a week for about 45 minutes to 60 minutes per session.
Yeah.
And you're mainly doing weight training with a bit of low intensity cardio.
Yes.
Cool. Everything else looks to be pretty good. Really good BMI of 23. So anything below 25 is a normal range, healthy range. And your waist to hip ratio is below 0.8, which again is really healthy. So you're studying full time, which is pretty light. You're normally studying in the classroom and whatnot, light activity. But your day as a whole is moderate once you've got to and from your uni and your workout.
Yeah.
You're getting less than 7 hours of sleep.
Yeah, it's just a study.
Yeah, fair enough.
5 hours.
Yeah, fair enough. As you probably know, around 8 hours is ideal, but we can obviously work on improving that. Everything else looks to be pretty good. You'd like to make a few changes to your diet, but that's of course what we're going to do today. And I can also refer you on if necessary. I can explain that. So you'd like to commit to 1 extra session per week with myself.
Yes.
And you prefer to work out in the afternoon after study, whatnot. That looks good. Great. So what we're going to do today is work against those goals that you have, and I'll take you through a dietary habits questionnaire. So this is based on the Australian healthy guidelines. So the guidelines are 5 guidelines which us as Australians can generally use to live a healthier lifestyle. So guideline 1 is to achieve and maintain a healthy weight and promote that through healthy eating and exercise. And then guideline 2 sort of expands on that, is to eat the right amounts of the 5 food groups to meet our daily energy requirements. Guideline 3 is to limit the intake of anything that's not. So that's this is the new way of doing it. It used to be the pyramid, you probably are aware of.
Yeah.
So it's now in this pie diagram. So guideline number 3 is to limit the intake of any foods that aren't in that diagram. So that's junk food, sweets, things like that, including alcohol. Guideline 4 is to encourage, support, and promote breastfeeding. So obviously, if that's not the path that you're going down at the moment, just sort of being aware of the benefits of it over formula feeding, things like that. And guideline 5 is to care for your food properly, storing it correctly, cooking it properly, washing fruits and veggies, things like that. So that is what we base our dietary habits questionnaire on. The 5 guidelines and the number of serves per day. So each food group has a recommended serves per day. So what I will do is get a bit of an idea of how many serves you have per day and compare that to how many you should be having. Okay?
Yeah.
So think of just a regular day, Monday to Friday, when you would usually eat pretty similar every day, and we'll get a bit of an idea of how many serves you're getting. Do you have any special dietary requirements, allergies, anything like that?
No.
Cool. Perfect.
I tend to avoid you know, like beige foods, like carbs.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
And why is that?
Just you know, really watching my calorie intake.
Okay.
And, yeah.
Alright, fair enough. Okay, so how many serves of veggies do you usually eat per day?
Probably nearly with every meal, really.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
And how do you usually get them in?
Well, for breakfast I have a green smoothie.
Mm-hmm.
So you know, spinach, put some celery, and then maybe a little bit of green apple just to kind of get a bit of sweetness through it.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe rainbow chard or kale.
Okay, cool.
And then, you know, for lunches, it's predominantly chicken for me.
Mhm.
And, you know, like I'll have a handful of, or maybe 2 handfuls of spinach.
Yep.
Like do a salad. It's like nice and easy for me to bring to uni.
Yeah.
And
Cool.
what else? Yeah.
Dinner?
Yeah, dinner, usually vegetable based. And chicken's probably the main meat source that I eat.
Okay.
And
is there a particular reason?
I just know that it's like really high in protein and it's nice and lean.
Correct. It is nice and lean and it is nice and high in protein, but it is really important to vary your lean protein source. Just because there's obviously just having chicken as your main protein source, you're kind of missing out on micronutrients that are in other protein sources. So that can be red meat, fish, tuna, eggs, nuts, and things like that. So it yes, as you said, chicken is really good for you. It's lean and it's high in protein, but it is important to vary that as well. So back to the veggies quickly. It sounds like you're getting plenty.
Yeah.
Would you say 4 to 5 or 6 or more?
Well, I mean, I like snacking on broccoli as well. So
Okay.
I sometimes have probably like with the portioning, it's probably the higher end.
Okay. So 6 or more.
Yeah.
Okay.
I love broccoli.
Okay. Well, that's good. How many serves of fruit do you usually eat per day?
Mm,
So you might have a green apple or some green apple in your smoothie.
Yeah.
In your green smoothie.
maybe like 1 to 2.
Okay. Perfect. How many serves of bread and cereal grains would you usually eat?
Pretty minimal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a bit concerned about my carb intake, so I try and limit that one. Like, and if I do have any, I'll yeah.
So do you ever add any sort of grains to your salads for lunch or
Not
to
really.
dinner? You ever have brown rice, potatoes?
Occasionally brown rice.
Okay.
Yeah, don't mind brown rice.
Okay. Well, it is really important that you get grains in. It is a really important part of our diet. And it particularly when you're working out and you're training really hard, it is really important to have those carbs. They're not bad for you and they're not going to make you gain weight. It is carbs are our main energy source for the human body. So it is really important that you increase your number of grains. The recommended daily intake is 6.
Okay.
So how many do you think you would get per day?
Maybe 1.
Okay. How many serves of dairy do you usually consume?
I don't really touch dairy.
Okay.
Yeah. Except for full fat yogurt. I do have that with no sugar.
Okay. And is there a reason that you don't like dairy?
I just, you know, I've heard it's kind of inflammatory and, you know, that it increases like mucus secretion. You know, just really worried about the fat content in it.
Okay, fair enough. With dairy, we always recommend low fat. So if you're going to go for yogurts, we would always recommend low fat yogurt. Dairy is not fat. Well, of course it can be in excess, but anything in moderation is good for you. And dairy is a really important part of our diet for the calcium, of course. So it is important to get your dairy in low fat varieties. So steer away from the fact that it's fattening. It is really important. So that would be the only sort of intake you would have of dairy, some full fat yogurt.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right. So probably 1 serve per day or less.
Yeah, probably 1 serve. Sometimes I'll put it into smoothies or I'll use that in my evening, like that's my dessert.
Okay. Yep.
With some berries.
Okay. Yeah, well, that's pretty good. How many serves of meat or alternatives do you usually consume per day?
Probably 2 servings, lunch and dinner.
So you'd have a serve of chicken with lunch and a serve of chicken with dinner?
Yes.
Cool. And you don't have any other meat alternatives, legumes, beans?
Well, occasionally legumes, but not that frequently, like possibly once a fortnight.
Okay. So we would say 2 to 3 serves of lean meat per day. Okay. And onto discretionary choices. So that's all of the things that aren't part of that pie diagram. Again, wrong one. So that's all of the things that fall down here. So that's junk food, takeaway, anything highly salted, highly sugary, soft drink, alcohol, anything like that. How many serves of those do you think you have in a whole week?
Maybe 1 serve.
Oh, that's pretty good. Awesome. All right. Quickly comparing your serves per day to the recommended intake. Veggies, perfect. I would like to probably see a little bit of variety in the veggies you're having. Broccoli is great, yeah, correct. But yeah, it is important to get a big variety of veggies, as I said, to increase the different micronutrients that are in different vegetables.
I heard that broccoli is really high in protein.
Well, it's not as high in protein as some other veggies. Spinach, for example, is quite high in protein. So yes, broccoli is fantastic, and it is one of the, I guess, more easily digested vegetables. So yes, it is really good for you. But yeah, as I said, it is important to get a variety of vegetables into your diet. Fruit is really good. That is spot on. 2 to 3 serves per day. The recommended is 2. As I already mentioned, the bread and cereal really needs to be increased. You sometimes will have a serve of grains in your rice of a day, whereas it needs to be around 6 serves of grains per day. But as I said, grains aren't scary. Grains are pretty much our fuel source. So it is really important to get your grains in, but it can be in any of these forms. So that's in cereals, bread, any grains like this, like quinoa, pasta, muesli, polenta, things like that. So it's important to add in some grains in every meal, and as I said, it is perfect energy for your body when you're working out. So your dairy, as I've also mentioned, is on the lower end. Recommended is 2.5 serves per day, and you are probably only getting maybe 1 in your yogurt. And as I mentioned, we always like to go for the lower fat dairy over the full fat dairy. So adding in some more dairy to your diet through milk, cheese, yogurt, sort of anything like that. And your meat is pretty good, pretty spot on with the serving sizes, but as I mentioned, try and vary it. So try and get in some red meat in your week, or fish, tuna, nuts and seeds, tofu, anything like that. So going off of the variants, we would like to make some goals or some changes to your current diet. What comes to mind for yourself?
I'm a bit nervous about having 6 servings of carbs per day or grains.
Yeah.
So maybe if I is into an aim to do 3 servings of grains,
perfect.
Kind of meet it halfway. I'm just really worried it's going to make me puffy.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Or it may because you going from nothing to adding in all of those grains, it may cause a reaction for yourself, but I would recommend easing yourself into it, seeing how you feel, and of course if you're not feeling great from adding in the grains, then we can reassess. But definitely try and add them in and see how you feel from that. So we'll add in 3 serves grains per day. And how do you think that you would best like to add the grains?
Quinoa seems pretty good, and maybe rice crackers with
perfect
hummus or something, and then I get my legumes in there and cottage cheese, and then I'll add in the dairy that I need to get. So
perfect. There you go. Particularly with your salads, if you're chucking together a quick salad to take to uni, adding in brown rice or quinoa or something to your salad automatically quickly adds in 1 serving of grains. So that's easy. All right, another one.
What else did I have to work on?
So
maybe the dairy, if I go up to 2 to 3 serves per day. What's the recommended for dairy?
2.5 serves per day.
Okay, yeah. So if I just aim for 2 to 3,
Mhm.
then that should average out.
Yep.
So,
We'll add another
Probably-
2.
and maybe I'll look for some different options with the yogurt, like with the
Yeah.
fat stuff.
Yeah. Okay. We'll aim to make 2 more changes.
Mhm.
Is there anything else that comes to mind for yourself?
I think maybe the variety on the vegetables,
Mhm.
like could probably do things like some Brussels sprouts and
Yep.
Chinese cabbage. There's
Yeah,
a lot of
perfect.
green things I could probably put.
Yeah. Into your smoothie, you're talking?
Yeah, or like just with my salads,
Mhm.
like get a bit of variety, and same with my meat sauce. I'll
Yeah.
maybe go like with the fish and things like
Yeah, good idea. Again, with the salads, it's really easy if you don't mind fish or seafood. A tin of tuna is really handy to chuck into your salads and mix together. I would also recommend any vegetables in that portion of the pie diagram,
Mhm.
and varying the colour of your vegetables. So that includes tomatoes, adding tomatoes to your salads. Try, and of course greens are fantastic, but try to include different coloured veggies, because they again include different micronutrients that greens don't provide. So
Mhm.
I would recommend a variety of all kinds of veggies, of varying colours, and just to get all those micronutrients. Vary vegetables, and experiment with new ones. All right, we'll aim for one more goal.
Mhm.
What would you, is there anything else that you would like to change?
Don't know. Maybe to incorporate some form of legume once a week,
Mm-hmm.
just to add some variety.
Yeah, perfect. All right, so and then I'll perhaps make another goal. So that sort of falls into the meat alternative. So we'll vary the lean protein source. So with your long-term goal of getting into some sports modelling, it's a great long-term goal, but it does require a huge change to your nutrition. The relationship between, in regards to body composition, weight training and activity will affect your body composition and the shape of your body, and nutrition affects your body fat. So you've probably heard it before, you can't out-train a bad diet. So nutrition sort of is everything, and particularly coming into sports modeling, you're looking for it to be really lean and really muscular. So nutrition is really important, and it needs to be really, really tailored to yourself, your height, your weight, your goals, everything like that. Unfortunately, as a personal trainer, I'm not qualified for that extensive meal plan. So for that, I would need to refer you to a nutritionist, a dietitian, and they can really look into everything about yourself, and provide you with a more tailored meal plan. Are you happy for me to refer you to it?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Cool. I will write a referral and I'll send it with you at the end of the session today. But as I said, they will be able to provide you with a lot more detailed and tailored meal plan for you. But this is a great start towards that, because as I said, it's a huge change.
True.
So I will now calculate your basal metabolic rate. All right, so your BMI I already know is 23. All right, so basal metabolic rate is the amount of kilojoules that your body requires to function daily without any activity. So that is, if you were on bed rest and not doing anything, that is the amount of kilojoules your body would require to function. So respiratory, cardiovascular, thermoregulation, all of that jazz. So I will work that out based on your weight. So your basal metabolic rate. I don't think that's right. No, it's not. That's not right. No. I don't think you're doing this right. Okay, 162 times. That's better. 6,004. So your body requires 6,004 kilojoules to live, pretty much. So then what we do from there is work out your total energy expenditure for the day. So that takes your basal metabolic rate, which is what your body needs to function, and we times it by your level of activity. So I would be inclined to times it by 1.7. You're sort of between a light activity to moderate activity depending on your workout. So I'm going to times your basal metabolic rate by 1.7, which gives me 10,206 calories. Sorry, kilojoules, which that's a lot of calories. Which is what typically on average your body uses per day to function and work out and everything in between. So from that, for a weight loss goal particularly, we would prescribe a diet of slightly below your total energy expenditure to achieve that calorie deficit, which will aid you to lose weight. So so I've worked out your foundation diet, which is the average kilojoules for all of your servings per day for your age group. So the foundation diet is 6,200 kilojoules. But then what we can do, because you're active and you're planning to continually be quite active, we can add on some kilojoules to your diet, making it a total diet, which takes into account your activity. So based on your activity level of moderate, I can add on 2,800 kilojoules, which will give you 9,000. So total diet is 9,000 kilojoules, which is ideal. It sits just under your basal metabolic rate, so you will be fueling your body enough to participate in all of your daily activities, but you'll be consuming less than you're expending, which will aid your weight loss goal. So we can add those extra kilojoules in additional serves in your diet. So probably initially you might think you'll be eating too much food, but it will actually be enough food to fuel your workouts, help you to gain muscle as well as losing weight. So for an additional 2,800 calories, I would be inclined to add some more veggies, probably another 2 serves, so that's only potentially 200 kilojoules. I think you probably don't have an issue consuming veggies. You like veggies, you get plenty in your smoothie, you get probably plenty in your salads at lunch, and you can just add a couple more serves probably with your dinner. Your fruit, I would probably be inclined to just add one. On average, one serve of fruit is about 350 kilojoules, I believe. So another additional serve of fruit is probably going to be sufficient. Breads and cereals, I'm going to leave because that's probably the one that you're really struggling to consume at the moment anyway. So your goal is to add another few serves of grains, but I'm not going to sort of overload you, try and increase that too much. The same with the dairy, I will be inclined to, as you already have a goal of increasing that, I'll probably try and keep that about 2.5. I might even just add 1 if you can, being one of your goals, but we'll just try and increase that as well. So that is, I believe, 350 kilojoules as well. And your meat alternatives, I would be inclined to probably add a couple of those as well. So again, in a variety of serves, in variety of sources, but increasing the serves of meat alternatives to get these additional calories in as well. How does it sound? Cool. All right. As I said, I will keep running all day. I will write a referral for you to a nutritionist so that you can get a really tailored program and diet for your specific goals. before we go. But how do you feel about heading into the gym?
Yeah.
We work out.
Yeah, so
Cool.
great.
Jump on the treadmill or the cross trainer for about 5 minutes just to warm up. Give me a bit of a chance to write a quick program, and then I'll take you through about a half-hour workout.
Great.
Any preferences what you'd like to do today?
I don't like burpees.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone really does, but all right, I'll see you in the gym.